Okay, so you quoted the verse in there, the marriage bed is undefiled.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to this one. What is okay in the bedroom? Because my pastor said that cussing is okay, but not sure. What do you say about that?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, and we asked the
You-
question
yes.
because I didn't understand, like, are you saying, like, just cussing? And they're saying that in the bedroom, the husband is saying, I want to something you, or whatever, and they're using cuss words.
Using the F word.
Yeah, and stuff like that. So,
Just so you all know,
So you all
I
know.
decided I was going to put that in Google search. I wanted to know
Oh, yeah.
where this word came from. Wikipedia says that it was coined in 1400s, and it's always been an obscene word used to describe sex. Always been an obscene word. It's not a modern twist, or it's not, you know.
yeah. And Ephesians 4:29, it says, don't let any corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but except for that which is to use for edifying others, that it may minister grace to the hearers. So I don't think that's
Obscenity.
probably ministering grace. It's not supposed to be coming out of your mouth. I mean, as Christians, period. Marcy and I were just talking about this, like, I don't know what the thing is about Christians nowadays, but everyone thinks you can just cuss and say whatever you want. And God says whatever comes out of your mouth was in your heart. So you're saying that filth, that means that your heart needs to get washed out. Okay, and you know what, like, if a cuss word comes into my head, I go to God and like, whoa, where did that come from? Because we get tainted by the world. We hear it, we see it, all those kind of things. And I don't think that we should be having the world in our bedrooms.
No.
You know what I mean? Just if the world thinks it's good and some weird movie that you saw thinks it's fine, who cares? That's not what God said. He said it's not supposed to be proceeding out of your mouth except for things that edify people,
Build you
to
up.
bring grace to the hearers. That's all. That's what it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? I looked up that word undefiled, and Marcy
Yeah.
said it too. So the marriage bed is undefiled, and sometimes I've used it in the sense of, you know, I mean, if it's between you and your husband, it's your personal stuff. And as long as everyone's agreeing, you know, whatever you're doing. But when I looked it up, actually the word means uncontaminated and
Right.
set apart. It's really talking about adultery and different things coming into the bedroom, that it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be holy and set apart and something completely different than the world. Completely different. So I'm sorry, but I think that pastor is wrong. He needs to believe what God said and do what God said. And so do you.
Yes. And you know, I like how it said uncontaminated.
Yeah.
Obscenity contaminates.
Yes.
So
Yeah. No, I think that's weird. Okay, here. So I think it's weird that a husband would say that to a wife. Like my husband, if he hears somebody saying those kind of words, he like takes action. And I'm gonna like, stop, calm down, because it's not like I haven't ever heard those words before. I hear them. I wasn't a Christian, you know, I wasn't a Christian my whole life. I used them, all that kind of stuff. But Steve doesn't like it if people are using those kind of obscenities around me. He thinks it's like, I don't know, it's what do you call it? Like
it's disrespectful.
yeah, disrespectful to me.
Not honoring.
Right. It doesn't honor me. And so
Yeah.
if that was my husband and he said that, I might have slapped him like your mom
Probably
did.
would have knocked him and said, go to your refrigerator. And I'm going to go tell Steve on you.
Yeah. And you know, now I'm sure that people think like, oh, you guys are so old fashioned, you know, that's what everybody does now, and this is how everybody acts.
I'm sick of that.
In there. But also Marcy already said this one, but in 1 Peter 3:4, let me just look it up real quick here. Go ahead, Marcy, if you have something to say, because, well, 1 Peter 3:4, it's talking
Yes.
about the wife, right? And her role. Hang on,
Yeah.
I gotta get there. 1 Peter 3:4. No, I'm saying it wrong. What am I saying?
Yeah. First Peter.
3. Oh, because I'm in James. That's why. 1 Peter 3:4. Okay, so if you guys look at verse 5, it says, "For in this manner, in former times, the holy women who trusted in God adorned themselves, being submissive to their own husbands." So it's talking about submission. But I was thinking, you know, people have said that to me before about drinking and all these different kinds of things. Well, you're old fashioned. Well, you're just legalistic. Well, you're all these things. No, I believe what God says, and I'm going to apply it to my life. And I thought that this verse went with it, because women in former times, so that's me and Marcy looking at somebody who's older than us,
Right.
and that's you younger girls looking at us, how we adorn ourselves.
Right.
We adorn ourselves in a specific way, in a godly way, not in an ungodly way, just because the world says that you should do that.
Right.
I wouldn't allow it.
Yeah. And and I think that if you extrapolate it out, if you have an attitude of, I can pick and choose the things in Scripture that I want to obey, pick and choose the things that I want to do or say, then you're going to have children who are going to do that too. Mm-hmm. And I'm constantly counseling ladies with kids. They're crying because their daughters and their sons are choosing the ways of the world. They're choosing to believe the lies of the world. Mm-hmm. And when we get to talking, it's because mom and dad have believed the lies of the world, mm-hmm. and are living and acting and speaking the lies of the world. Mm-hmm. So you have to...
And we're not saying you can't have romantic
No.
little things that you call each
Sure.
other, things that you
Pet
say
names
that's
or
only
something, yeah.
only between yourselves and nobody
Right.
else needs to know that. We're just saying, like, if unwholesome things are coming out of your mouth, it shouldn't be. I don't
Yeah.
care where it's at. In the
Right.
bedroom, in church, on Facebook. I don't care where.
Where.
It's not
It
supposed
shouldn't.
to. It's not supposed to be there. We're supposed to be set apart and different from other people.
Yep.
Yeah,
Amen.
so like theologically speaking, we live in a time where it's popular. We even have terms coined, the cussing pastor, and they're bringing up things
What
like
that
that
is.
Jesus used a certain word to go to the bathroom, and he used a cuss word for emphasis and stuff. It's all a bunch of hogwash.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Yeah, and so like you said, and you know, if you're coming out of the world and you get married, okay, then you become a Christian. You don't, like you said, you don't bring it into.
No.
It's totally different. So
Yeah.
when it says the marriage bed is undefiled, it doesn't mean that you can't defile the marriage bed.
No, right.
You know, so all the other rules and regulations that God put on the relationship, or that is in His law, you know, if you bring in a third party and have a threesome, you know, you've
Right.
defiled the
Right,
marriage
right.
bed.
Right, that's what it's
So
saying.
there's
That's
a-
what it says.
Yeah.
Yeah, adultery and fornicators and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right.
You're not supposed
Well,
to be
and there
happening.
are certain words that we would now deem maybe cuss words with our kids. Like, so, the word for a donkey, or the
Yeah.
word that we use for a female dog. Okay, so those words, yes, those have always been words used for that purpose. And we've said, well, let's not say it. I mean, even the old King Jimmy has the A word for a donkey, right? But I'm not supposed to call somebody that, because now I'm violating the scripture where Jesus said, don't say rocka rocka to your brother. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm letting something unwholesome come out of my mouth. I'm telling, somebody, I'm accusing somebody of being a female,
Well, and I'm thinking too, like, not to like cause a big thing, but if your pastor said that, I would go have a talk with your pastor.
get a different church.
I,
Sorry.
I was going to say that, but I thought, well, maybe you should talk to him first. Then,
Talk to
if
him
he
and then get a
says,
different church.
no, we don't have to believe what God says, look all those words up. All I did was even just Googled
Yes.
undefiled.
Yeah.
Right? You just Google it, you can find out what it means. This is exactly what it means. And so you can see what it means, or no unwholesome thing coming out of your mouth. Google it. You can see what it means.
Well,
like,
I've seen, yeah.
yeah. So
Sorry, I
I'm
interrupted
giving somebody a wave they're bringing cookies for our Christmas
Yes.
program. So I'm giving them a wave.
Well, and the thing is that a lot of times people will post that word on Facebook, or you'll see it, and a lot of people will be defended because that's just how they felt.
But yeah, no. I don't
But
care.
the thing
I feel,
is
I
that
feel lots of things, and I don't say them
Jesus
out loud.
felt a lot of things too.
Yeah, no.
How would you have felt if you heard that word coming out of his mouth while he hung on the cross? And I'm sorry,
No,
the Bible
that's
says
right.
that none of us has suffered like he did.
That's right.
So if anybody deserved to quote unquote say that word,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't like stuff like that because you know what? If you don't feel guilty,
Yeah.
to me, I don't know. I mean, I feel guilty if I think it.
Yes,
if
me
it comes
too.
into my head, right? Which it does sometimes. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, what? Whoa! But I don't say it out loud.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like and if I did, even when it's in my head, I ask God to clean my heart out.
Yeah.
Because it's in my head, that means that it's in my heart.
Yeah.
Something that's not godly, and I don't want to be that. I don't want to be portraying that. Even if you're looking, even if you're trying to look hip and happening to the world, or you're trying to relate to the world, so you're using those words so that other people can relate to you. Well, I don't care.
Right.
I don't use that, no matter what.
Well, and I really believe that if that's the way Jesus wanted us to relate to the world, it would be in the Bible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The
Don't
only way
think
you relate to the
it
world is be different.
Right.
Because they're lost and they need something real.
Exactly.
And so you're all like them. What do they need you for?
We're
They don't
supposed to be
need. They don't need
separate.
Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. I don't like it.
All right.
There, we went off on a
Yeah, on a
soap
little
opera.
tangent.
All right, are you good on that?
Yep.